So this, of course, is a somber moment for a nation that is still trying to come to grips with the tragedy that has befallen in this gruesome terror attack where 27 innocent tourists were gunned down in Pahalgam. And to discuss more on this, we're joined on this broadcast by retired Major General Rajan Kochar, who's a Defence and Strategic Affairs Analyst. He's joining us live from New Delhi. General Kochar, thank you very much indeed, sir, for taking time out and speaking to us here on WION. Now, according to reports that are coming in, the operation to capture the perpetrators of this gruesome terror attack is still on. You know, for a lot of people who are watching these developments unfold, why is it that it's 24 plus hours since this attack was perpetrated that we've not been able to capture or take down these terrorists?
See, there are two things involved here. Firstly, we are not very sure of the identity of them. Are they locals or are they, foreign terrorists? Because no clear statement has yet been issued by the security forces. So, in case it is done by the locals, who are the radicalized youth, they would have melted into the crowd because they are part of that ecosystem of that area, and it's very, very easy for them to escape.
Right.
But in case it is a foreign hand here, then it is likely they would have moved into the forest. And since those security forces were in that area for quite some time, it gave them the opportunity for the getaway. Now, having been in that area, I can tell you it's a jungle, it's a mountain terrain, and extremely thick area. So, finding them in this thick foliage, even your helicopters and the drones are not very, very effective in these areas. So, it has to be a physical combing of that area. They have a head-on advantage on you because they've already moved inside. They would have planned their getaway in a manner that they can get into some kind of a cave or some kind of a place where they can hide away from the forces. So it is a deliberate operation, I would say, because once you move in your patrols inside and you start scanning the area, it will take time. So please don't expect this operation to be over in 24 hours or 48 hours. At times it takes even weeks or even 15 to 20 days, even if your special forces are employed in this area to locate them or to find their movements. It's not that easy. And last point is that they have local support.
Right.
And it's extremely unfortunate because there are already 30 to 40 sleeper cells which are active in these areas. They have the local support. So even they will be able to sustain themselves for months, I can say that,
Right.
with that local support. And after some time, you see, I can give you example of the Rajouri and Poonch area also, where our special forces were searching them for months,
Right.
and we were unable to catch them, and they went into Pakistan.
Right.
So I think it's a challenge.
It is, of course, going to be a challenge, but also to talk about, the motive of this attack. The fact that a tourist destination such as Pahalgam was targeted. Tourism contributes almost 7,000 to 8,000 crores for the Kashmiri economy. And what this attack has done is it has probably dealt a body blow, to the normalcy that was being brought in and to the confidence that the tourists have from across India and indeed from across the world to come visit places such as this. And in the past, although there were attacks that had taken place, but the tourist areas by and large, such as Pahalgam, Gulmarg, etc., had not come under an attack of this nature. Who do you think gains an advantage out of this, and how badly does this attack also affect the people of Kashmir themselves?
Very good question, because you see what is happening here is that earlier we saw a strategy of these terrorists that they were engaging the Indian army. They were engaging them in ambushes and carrying out attacks there. And we did not see a direct attack on the tourists. At the most, we saw a few isolated incidents of some civilians being targeted, some workers who come to actually work from the hinterland. But this is the first time. So there are three, four motives I could identify into this. The first is whenever we see a dignitary or a VVIP actually visiting our nation, in this case, it was Vice President once. And so we have a past record or a past history of such incidents taking place whenever these dignitaries are actually visiting us, because it gives them an international attention, international exposure,
Right.
telling that Kashmir is still boiling, Kashmir is still unstable, and the people of Kashmir are not happy with the government. That is point number one. Point number two is that the way tourism was developing in Kashmir, I have a statistics to give you that last year 35 lakh tourists have actually visited this place.
Absolutely.
So this was not conducive to the statement made recently by the Pakistan Army chief when he made a bold statement saying that Kashmir is the jugular vein. So
Absolutely.
it was this Kashmir was getting out of hold of the Pakistanis, and the Pakistanis were not able to influence events into Kashmir. So this was one of the reasons, because tourists are a very, very soft target, and they saw in this area, because they have local support in the sense that these OGWs and other people are actually working here and helping them. They got the information. There is hardly any presence of the security forces in this area.
Absolutely.
A third important aspect is, you see, this communal angle is actually coming into play.
Indeed.
They are trying to project there is a Muslim Hindu divide in our country. And that is why this strategy of asking them to remove their clothes or asking them to recite some verses of the Quran was an implication to suggest that it is a Hindu-Muslim divide. Again, going back
Absolutely.
to Colonel Munir's address, which he gave to the diaspora from outside Pakistan who had come there, to suggest that they are two nations separate, and the Hindu and Muslims are absolutely different from each other.
That indeed
So
is true.
these are the events I feel have actually attributed to this kind of action, by these terrorists supported by the Pakistan army.
Absolutely, indeed. General Kochhar, thank you very much indeed, sir, for speaking to us and giving us a very comprehensive outlook in terms of the motivation behind this terror attack. Thank you very much indeed for joining us in WION.
Thank you, Jane.